Lauren Crawford, YogiLoren. What are you manifesting in your life? What parts of your life are going well that you're really happy with? And maybe what other parts of your life could use some change? You do manifest your reality. And this is important. How and what we think and do is the result of years and patterns that are deeply established within us. And these patterns and these energies can be changed. Let's start from the premise that A, we are all energy. We are simply energy, energy that manifests in terms of a physical form, a physical body, and also a mind, and mind that includes the thoughts that go along with it. So we are energy. Energy is immutable and mobile. And the other thing that we can agree on is that similar energy attracts, and opposing energy, different energies oppose or repel. So the law of attraction, similar energies are drawn towards each other. So if we want to manifest things in our life, we have to make sure that we're creating an energy field for those to come to fruition. And so how we do this is actually not all of that difficult. I'm going to give you a little bit of a checklist in terms of work that can be done to start to manifest the reality that you want to create. It starts first with doing practice. So ideally some yoga practice that includes meditation. Why these two? Because in combination, they help to create greater discernment, greater capacity of your higher mind to choose things that are going to align with your higher purpose. And then once we're doing practice and our mind's getting more clear, we're going to start to have the capacity to kind of reflect and discern and go, I need to make some changes. And that's really, really powerful. So we do our practice and then we make some decisions to affect change. And then, so how we do that is by setting an intention, a sankalpa. So we start with one, we establish some change that we want to work with, and we create a statement around what that change is. So, and it's what the change is, not what the change will be. We use a present tense statement, which is known as a sankalpa statement. And that's going to be really, really helpful. And then we need to essentially change up the energy of how we work towards that. We know that thoughts and our constructs of reality are sometimes deeply, deeply ingrained in us at a very early age. Sometimes new information will be brought into our wheelhouse and we'll recognize from a logical and rational place that, oh yeah, the way I was thinking about that, the way I understood that is actually not accurate. And that misapprehension can be let go as you move into this additional way or new way of perceiving subject X, Y, or Z. However, a lot of our thoughts, a lot of our beliefs are deeply held, deeply imprinted in us at a very unconscious and subconscious level. And so those are the ones that are harder to change. But we can, and I would argue we must change them if we're going to arrive at greater freedom, fulfillment, and joy in our life. So some examples of these might be a deep-seated issue around our relationship to money and how money moves in and out of our lives. It could also be around, another example is our perception of self-worth. And that can be shaped really early on in our lives. Another might be negativity and pessimism that gets deeply ingrained in us early on. So these are three examples of areas where we may want to make some change, right? We can also think of habits, these recurring things that we do in our lives as energy forms that aren't always helpful. So we could develop a sankalpa around letting go of one habit and bringing in something new or different to replace it, right? So these are examples of how we can work in this area. So first, what we want to do then is to make the identification of what we want to change and begin the work around that. Some of the initial steps that we may need to take may include stepping away from relationships with individuals, or situations where we find ourselves that no longer align or serve us. That can be a really powerful shift, because once we start to make changes around our energy field, and remember, thoughts are energies, and we're recreating or creating new thoughts with different energies and trying to manifest those, working towards manifesting those. So stepping away from certain people that may have been in your life that would keep that old situation alive, or staying away from situations where that situation prevails, right? So making a conscious choice around people and situations may be good. And then also planting your sankalpa, this intention statement, from a deep place of stillness. And we often will do this in Yoga Nidra, because in Yoga Nidra, the mind gets super quiet. And when it's in that quiet place, the brain waves are just gently flowing. It's ready to receive new information. The brain is. And that way, we're going to be more inclined to affect the changes at that deeper unconscious level. So super powerful. And then one other thing that we can do is in our daily lives, when things are getting a little bit hectic and we're recognizing that impulse, that old pattern belief system is cropping up. It's like it's there to sabotage you, right? That you identify that right away and then remember the sankalpa and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. It's like you want to sort of drill down on that old thought that crops up, because it will, and replace it with stop, pause, and replace it with the new sankalpa, the new goal or intention that you're setting for yourself. Really, really powerful. The other thing that I like to do is at the end of meditation, again, mind is super quiet because you finish your meditation practice. That's a perfect time to remember your sankalpa. And one more place that I find it really, really helpful is right before sleeping. So I do a little gratitude practice at the end of my day when I rest my head to my pillow. And then that's the perfect time as well to remember this sankalpa. So these are areas and places and systems for affecting this change. So we can do this, and we can be the masters of our destiny. We can look at our lives and say, what reality am I creating for myself, and what reality do I need to change? That taking ownership is really, really bold. And it's not something that everyone is willing to or ready to do. But you can and you will. This you can and you will is actually a good way to think of your sankalpa. I can, I will, I must. So you can create whatever that statement is, and you can plant it with these 3 lines. I can, statement. I will, statement. I must, statement. That's a great way to work with your sankalpa. So I wish you well, and I hope that you are becoming the master of your own destiny by looking at areas where you need to and want to affect change, and then doing the necessary work to do that. Because you have the tools and the skills, and if you're doing your practice, you're doing your meditation, you're working with sankalpa, all of these energies, these forces, this Shakti is going to become very, very rich and strong. And when it becomes super strong, it's going to override the inertia of not changing. And that's important to remember. So keep at it, do the work you need to do. You're going to succeed. Have faith, and know that the universe is going to align your energies with the energies that are going to bring your intention to fruition. Namaste.